One naval battle decided the fate of Rome for the next 500 years. Most people think Mark Antony lost because of love, but he didn't. He lost because of a blockade, a disease, and one decision made in open water. That decision still puzzles historians today. Here's what really happened at Actium. Rome, 44 BC. Julius Caesar is dead, stabbed 23 times by his own senators. The men who killed him claimed they were saving the Republic. Instead, they triggered 13 years of civil war. The Republic Caesar built his career inside is now a power vacuum. Who fills it? 3 men step forward. Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir, only 18 years old and largely unknown. Mark Antony, Caesar's most trusted general, battle-tested and popular with the army. And Lepidus, a soldier with less ambition and even less luck. Together, they form the Second Triumvirate. Their first move is brutal. They draw up lists of political enemies and have them executed, including the famous orator Cicero. Then they hunt down Caesar's assassins and crush them at the Battle of Philippi. With their enemies gone, the 3 men divide the Roman world between them. Octavian takes the west. Antony takes the wealthy east. Lepidus gets Africa, and eventually, almost nothing at all. It looks like a partnership. It is actually a countdown. Why? Because 2 ambitious men rarely share power for long. And Antony is about to make that countdown move faster. As part of ruling the East, Antony travels to Tarsus to meet the Queen of Egypt. Her name is Cleopatra. She arrives on a golden barge, dressed as the goddess Venus. It is theater, and it works. But Cleopatra is not just a beautiful queen. She is one of the sharpest political minds of her generation. She speaks multiple languages and has ruled Egypt on her own since she was a teenager. She is also the richest ruler in the Mediterranean world. Her grain feeds armies. Her gold pays soldiers. And Antony needs both for his campaigns against the Parthian Empire in the east. So the alliance begins as strategy. It becomes something more. They have children together, twins, and later a 3rd child. Antony is still legally married to Octavia, who happens to be Octavian's own sister. That single fact will cost him everything. In 36 BC, Antony invades Parthia, and it goes badly. He loses tens of thousands of soldiers on the retreat alone. Cleopatra's resources help him rebuild what is left of his army. Back in Rome, Octavian watches all of this closely. He sees an opportunity. Not a war of armies yet, a war of image. He tells the Roman people a story, and it is a very effective one. Antony has gone native. Antony has traded Roman values for an Egyptian queen and her foreign court. He has humiliated a Roman wife for a woman from the East. He is not just unfaithful to his family. He is unfaithful to Rome itself. Is any of that true? Partly. In 34 BC, Antony holds a lavish ceremony in Alexandria. He gives Roman territories in the east to Cleopatra and her children as gifts. Historians later call it the Donations of Alexandria. To Roman ears, it sounds like a Roman general giving away the empire to a foreign throne. Octavian goes further. He obtains Antony's private will, kept by the Vestal virgins, and reads it aloud in the Senate. It states that Antony wants to be buried in Egypt, next to Cleopatra, not in Rome. The Senate is furious. Octavian strips Antony of his powers. War is declared. But notice the wording carefully. Not a war on Antony. a war on Cleopatra. That technicality lets Octavian call it a foreign war, not a civil war between Romans. Clever, and it works perfectly on public opinion. By 31 BC, both sides are finally ready for open conflict. Antony commands close to 500 ships and nearly 100,000 soldiers. He also has support from several allied kings across the eastern Mediterranean. On paper, that looks unstoppable. But numbers alone don't win naval battles. Octavian's fleet is smaller, fewer than 250 ships. Yet it has one advantage that money can't easily buy. It's Admiral Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, arguably the finest naval commander Rome ever produced. His ships, called Liburnians, are lighter, faster, and easier to turn in tight spaces. Antony's ships are heavier, built for ramming and boarding, but slow and hard to maneuver. Speed versus raw power. That contrast is about to decide everything. Agrippa doesn't rush into a head-on battle. He does something smarter. He starts capturing key ports along the Greek coastline, one by one. He cuts off Antony's supply lines from Egypt. Slowly, Antony's massive army camped near the Gulf of Ambracia starts to starve. Food runs low. Malaria spreads fast through the swampy, mosquito-heavy camps. Soldiers desert in growing numbers, some crossing straight over to Octavian's side. One of them, a general named Quintus Dellius, brings Antony's battle plans with him. Octavian now knows exactly what Antony intends to do before it happens. Before a single ship engages in battle, Antony has already lost his advantage. So why fight at all in a position this weak? Because staying meant dying slowly of hunger and disease with no battle fought. Antony has to break out or lose everything without landing a single blow. On September 2nd, 31 BC, his fleet finally moves toward open water. The Battle of Actium begins off the coast of western Greece. Antony's ships push forward in tight formation, trying to break Agrippa's blockade. The fighting is close, brutal, ship against ship. Fire arrows arc across the water. Boarding parties clash on burning decks. Heavy ships try to ram, light ships try to dodge and encircle. For hours, neither side gains a clear, decisive edge. Then, in the middle of the chaos, something unexpected happens. Cleopatra's squadron, 62 ships carrying the entire war treasury, has been waiting behind the main fleet. Suddenly, they turn. Not toward the fighting, away from it. Using a favorable afternoon wind, they break through a gap in the battle lines and sail south. Why would she retreat in the middle of a battle this important? Some historians argue it was the plan all along, a prepared escape route with the treasury secured. Others argue simple panic took over as the fighting intensified around her ships. We don't know for certain, and that uncertainty is exactly what keeps Actium so debated today. What we do know for certain is what Antony does next. He sees Cleopatra's ships breaking away and sailing free, and he follows her. He abandons his own flagship, jumps onto a smaller, faster vessel, and chases after her. He leaves his fleet behind, mid-battle, with no warning and no clear command. That is the decision. The single moment historians keep coming back to, again and again. Not really a story about love. A story about judgment, lost in seconds, with an entire empire on the line. His remaining fleet, suddenly leaderless and confused, keeps fighting for a while longer. But without their commander, morale collapses fast. Many ships surrender where they float. Some are set on fire rather than handed over. His land army, still nearly 100,000 strong, waits for days for orders that never arrive. Eventually, their commander quietly defects to Octavian as well. The entire army surrenders without a real fight. An empire's worth of soldiers, gone, not from combat, but from abandonment and confusion. Antony and Cleopatra flee together to Alexandria. For almost a year, they try to rebuild, gather new forces, and buy time. It isn't enough. In 30 BC, Octavian's army finally reaches Egypt and closes in on the city. Antony, hearing false news that Cleopatra has already died, takes his own life. Cleopatra, facing certain capture and public humiliation in Rome, follows him soon after. The most famous political and romantic partnership of the ancient world ends within days of each other. Octavian also orders the death of Caesarion, Cleopatra's son, by Julius Caesar. A rival heir to Caesar's name is a risk he refuses to leave alive. And Octavian himself? He returns to Rome as its unquestioned, unrivaled master. No one left standing who can challenge him. Egypt becomes a Roman province, its wealth now flowing straight into Octavian's hands. In 27 BC, the Senate grants him a new title, Augustus, the first Roman emperor. The republic that had governed Rome for nearly 500 years quietly comes to an end. Not with a formal declaration, and not with a single dramatic vote. With one man simply having no one left to compete against. Augustus doesn't just take power, he quietly redesigns how Rome actually works. He builds a standing professional army loyal to the state, not to individual generals. He rebuilds roads, temples, and public spaces across the entire empire. Historians later name the 2 centuries that follow the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. None of that happens without what took place at Actium first. There's a reason this battle still gets taught in classrooms across the United States today. America's founding generation studied the fall of the Roman Republic very closely. They built a system of checks and balances specifically to prevent what happened to Rome. One man was never supposed to hold all the power, no matter how popular he became. Actium is the moment that lesson turned from theory into real, bloody history. That's part of why this battle still resonates more than 2,000 years later. It also became one of the most retold stories in all of Western culture. Shakespeare wrote an entire tragedy about it centuries afterward, called Antony and Cleopatra. Hollywood brought it back in 1963 with Elizabeth Taylor playing the Queen herself. More recently, shows like HBO's Rome keep retelling this same collapse for new audiences. Why does a naval battle from over 2,000 years ago still get this much attention? Because it was never really a story about ancient ships. It's a story about power, propaganda, and how fast an empire can slip away. And that kind of story never really goes out of style. So was Actium really a story about love? Not really. It was about propaganda, supply lines, disease, and one impulsive decision made in open water. A decision made by a skilled general who briefly stopped thinking like one. Love was the story Octavian sold to Rome, and it worked because it was easy to believe. The real story was strategy, and the exact moment that strategy broke down completely. One battle. One decision. 500 years of republic, replaced by an empire that would go on to last 500 more. If a single decision at sea can end a 500-year republic, imagine what else history has hidden in plain sight. Subscribe for more stories like this one. The empire Actium created is coming up next.